Good morning and welcome to another episode of Ronnie's vlog. On this day I wasn't heading out for a specific bike ride. I was doing a few errands and a few care runs, but also agreed to meet up with one of my fellow bikers at the Lighthouse for a coffee in between doing the care drops and basically just to start off the day. So we're starting really early, going for a coffee down at the Lighthouse, and then you can't just do errands on a bike. I always end up just hitting the road, and even if it's just going to a local nature reserve or going down some roads like the Beehive, just to give myself some practice and to give myself some free time and free my mind. I know we covered my physical health last time, but one of the other things is basically mental health. When you've been through everything that I've been through, I haven't even touched on my childhood or any of that. Maybe one day I might, or if you read the books that I've written, then that might give you a little bit of an insight. But I find being on the bike is the only time I don't second guess myself or doubt myself or feel that I'm not good enough, or where my anxiety doesn't kick in, where I don't feel like I'm useless. I don't feel that I'm not enough. So having that time on the bike is precious for me. It's kind of my therapy, and I think a lot of bikers feel that way as well. You'll see a lot on TikTok, a lot of bikers will say the same thing, that when you climb on the bike, feel the throttle, visor down, hit the road, everything else, all your problems, everything just disappears, and it's just you and the bike. It's my safe place. So we also found, because obviously I'm a street pastor, I'm a pastor, I like helping people, I like being with people, that I kind of automatically go into that mode. And I kind of discovered at the Lighthouse that everybody just pretty much just turned up, and nobody knew when anybody was going to be there. But the friendships and the conversations and the camaraderie that you get when you go to that Lighthouse and meet those guys, it's something else. So I did decide, a few of us agreed to kind of start off a little Lighthouse Bikers Messenger chat, but that slowly ended up getting a bit too confusing with too many conversations going at the same time. So we set up a public group on Facebook called the Lighthouse Bikers. So basically we can all just check in and kind of say if we're off to the Lighthouse, and then maybe see if anybody else fancies joining, so that it isn't just all left up to chance, basically. Now all those friendships were there long before I even turned up, so it's not like I'm going in and taking over. I just kind of saw a gap and thought this would be a nice thing to keep everybody connected and to build on that community that's already there. I kind of needed it as well. Some of these guys, you'll meet one in a minute, they can be, especially on their big bikes, they sometimes have a little laugh at me, this little girl, although I'm not a girl, I'm 40 years old, but this little girl on a little bike, but I know that they've got my back. I know they're just winding me up, and when I go out for a ride with them, they really look after me. So you'll see that in the next episode, which I'm going to be putting together soon. So we're just heading down to Whitley Bay now so that we can get along to the Lighthouse, so that you can meet Dave. He goes by the name Papa Smurf on TikTok. Go find him if you're on TikTok. He is amazingly funny. and I absolutely love his bike. It is so cool, and he is just so hilariously funny. So Dave's beautiful Kawasaki Ninja is just coming into view now. I'm just going to park up next to his bike and go find him. Well, I've met up with Dave and we're just about to head along to the links to go and grab a coffee along there, because there is a certain person who started work at a coffee place. I'm not going to mention who, but somebody very dear to me. So we decided to go and get coffee from the place where she's just started working. Hopefully she doesn't get too many bikers turn up and give her a rough time, but they do all know that this coffee place now exists. So, little bike problems. Normally when I pull up at junctions, it's always a bit fun to rev the bike. All bikers have it, and you always get people also saying as well, you know, give it some revs, you know, it's quite enjoyable. So we're stuck at these traffic lights, you know, you just want to have a little bit of fun. So I thought I'd start having a little bit of a revving competition with Dave behind me. He stayed behind me because basically he wanted to keep up with my speed. If he was in front, then he'd be gone. I'd never see him. I'm really sorry for holding all these big bikes up. We're sounding like I start revving Ronnie, and Dave decides to rev his bike, and well, Ronnie loses. He buys the coffee. I definitely lost that, so I was definitely buying the next copy. I kind of looking forward to getting a bigger bike and being able to do that. Although I do love Ronnie, I think even when I do pass my test, hopefully this summer, I think I'm going to keep Ronnie for at least another year. Hopefully I might see if I can try and get it to go a little bit faster, because going at 55 is pitiful. If I could at least get 70 out of her, I would be quite happy. And I'd probably stick with her. My next bike, I would love a Ducati Monster. I think that's part of the reason why I got Ronnie, because she looks like a mini Monster. So back at the Lighthouse again, and a couple of other bikers who are part of our little Lighthouse biker group has turned up, so we can have a little bit of a chat and just have a good gossip and a good laugh before I need to head off to do some work. So just leaving the Lighthouse now and heading back along the coast. I've got some drops to do, some errands to run, so I'm not going to show all that. I'm going to cut to my ride up to Penshaw Monument after that. I always see Penshaw Monument in the distance. I've never actually been, so I thought it would be quite nice to actually just hop on the bike and go. I'm hoping to try and find some lovely little hidden gems and places that I've never been to before. I've lived in Newcastle all my life, but there are still places where I've never been. We do have a lot of really beautiful National Trust sites up this way, loads of castles, and our coastline is just to die for. Yep, I'm a very proud Geordie. So just going to do show a little bit of footage of going back along along the coast back to Tynemouth, and then I'll cut along to heading down to Penshaw. Now, while we're riding along the coast, I know I mentioned the books earlier when I was talking about mental health. I really do think you should read the books, especially if you like motorbikes. Or even if you don't like motorbikes, it's all about friendship and love and mental health and life in general. Some of the books were really difficult to write. The last one, Nobody's Hero Part 2, was very difficult because it had some really difficult grief scenes in it, which were very hard to write. Sorry, I'm getting a bit choked up now just thinking about it. But kind of that one is now out, and I'm continuing to work on the next book, which follows on from it, which has some very difficult topics of mental health, basically suicidal thoughts and anxiety, depression, all of those, and trying to write those emotions can be really difficult. But I feel they need to be talked about. I think we're talking about mental health a bit more now than what we used to, but I find a lot of the time it's still seen as a joke. It's not really treated like physical illnesses, and I do feel we need to really put a spotlight on mental health. I really hope that my books manage to help people, even if just by reading the story and think, yep, I'm just like that, I've been through that way, I feel that way too. I don't know, if I manage to help one person, then it's all been worth it. All my work complete, so I'm heading up to the A19 to head down to Penshaw Monument. Now we'll have a little bit of fun. Obviously you saw the fun that I had at traffic lights earlier with Dave. I kind of wonder what people must think when they see me on a bike. Sometimes at traffic lights I just randomly decide to start dancing, especially if I've got a song playing in my head as I ride. Sometimes my helmet system, which I've got in, just randomly decides to turn music on. Sometimes I think that's Ron just messing with me. But I don't know, maybe it's just got a glitch. But I just randomly, especially at traffic lights, just start bopping about and dancing, or normally kind of looking at the cars around me, and sometimes if there's idiots, I say words that I normally would not say. I do not swear. I don't mind other people swearing around me. I do not judge anybody. I'm that kind of person. So if you swear, you swear. If you don't, you don't. But I normally don't. But sometimes on my bike, I do swear. You would not want to hear what comes out of my mouth sometimes when I'm on my bike. And also you wouldn't want to hear my singing either. Now we're back at the tunnel, and the car in front of me at this toll was having a lot of difficulty with the coins and putting the money in. Was really struggling. I did shout over and ask if he needed help. Even edged forward and tried to get his attention, but I think I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, though I do think he heard me. He did look over in my direction. But if he didn't want my help, tough. Some people just hate bikers when we're so lovely and normally so helpful, you know. I don't know what the problem is. Yeah, I see a lot on TikTok. I've put a few videos up of bike versus cars. And a lot of the car drivers, especially the hating biker car drivers, generally come on and do the "you shouldn't be on the road." It's always the biker's fault. So, you know, even when the footage shows that it isn't the biker's fault, somebody always manages to say, "Oh, the bike was going too fast," or, you know, a car could suddenly decide to U-turn in the middle of the road in front of a bike, and it would automatically be, well, the bike shouldn't have been going too fast. You know, I've seen TikToks with bikers being chased by cars who are angry at being cut up or whatever excuse they come up with. I saw one recently with a female biker who was really struggled and tried everything to get away from this car. Even though she had footage, the police didn't prosecute. It was in America, so I suppose. But that sort of thing does happen over here as well. I do know bikers who've had similar issues of cars and road rage. And I guess with also being a female, you've also got that added thing of being alone on a bike, especially after all the Paula Everroad stuff. It's kind of made us think about our safety a little bit more. So I most of the time tend to have a live update of my location on WhatsApp so my husband can find me, just as a safety measure, especially if I'm going far or somewhere I don't know. I think it helps bring that added bit of security to me, and I know I'm safe, and I know that he'd be there to find me if I get stuck. I don't know why there's so much hatred of bikers. I've never understood it. I've got family members who really hate bikers, so I guess that means they hate me. So, because biking is in my blood. So, I am a biker. Always have been, always will be, even when I didn't have a bike. For those 18 years in between when I didn't have a bike, I was always a biker. Just a biker without a bike. We're back riding through the tunnel. Now, I don't know why I was scared riding through the tunnel. I've been through it quite a few times now since getting back on. It just goes to show that sometimes you just have to face your fears head on and accept challenges. I'm constantly looking for challenges, and hopefully by the time I actually do my mods in the summer, then I will be well and truly ready. I think the only issue I have is the mod 1 part of the test. I really struggle with U-turns. I keep kind of putting my foot down or my foot hovers. I just can't get away with it. I can do all the other slow maneuvers, but doing a U-turn, I just feel like the bike is just going to fall over. I just can't manage it. So I think I'm going to have to get some cones or something and just do some practicing. Well, it's only 3 days until my next CBT. I'm having to re-go through that all over again. But hopefully I might see whether the instructor can give me some tips on the slow maneuvers, specifically the U-turns, so that I can practice on that before a couple of lessons before my mods in the summer. So for any of you bikers out there, which part of the test did you not like or struggle with? How do you manage U-turns? I've heard that it's easier on a bigger bike than a little bike to do U-turns. I guess I'll find that out for myself. But I don't know. So how did your mods go? Anything that was really difficult for you? So on the A19, heading down, it isn't far down the A19 for Penshaw Monument. I haven't been down this part of the A19 for quite a while. Obviously it's been 3 years since I last drove a car, because I haven't driven a car since I nearly died. I think I drove a car once or twice after, but I found it really difficult to concentrate, and as I was still recovering, I just couldn't cope with it. And then our car broke, so we didn't have a car for a while. So we now do have a car, but I let my husband choose, as he would be driving it the most. He bought a really big car, and it's got an electric handbrake, so I'm not too keen on it. Obviously I've not been down this stretch. They're doing a lot of road works. They're turning what was a roundabout into a flyover bridge. So you can see overhead the new bridge that's being built here over this roundabout that was originally part of the A19. I find it really good because it's giving me some experience of roadworks, and also the stretch of the A19 is a 50-mile-an-hour limit because of the roadworks, so at least I don't feel like such a slow coach with cars zooming too fast over me, because obviously I can manage 50. But even doing 50 or slightly just over, I think a couple of times I've looked down and it's been 52. You are allowed a little bit over. I always look and I always make sure I'm in the speed limit as much as possible. But I found on this journey, even when there are cameras overhead and it's 50 miles an hour, I still had cars zooming past me, so they were obviously breaking the speed limit at times. I know most people hate traffic and works like this, but it's given me some really good experience of different road conditions and different roads. So a question, what do you want to see and what do you want me to talk about on these vlogs? This is my 8th one now. I know that starting a vlog things would be slow, but I don't really get any engagement. Nobody really comments in the comments even when I've asked questions in the vlog. I don't know, maybe does anybody actually watch all the way through? Does my voice just get on people's nerves? I guess I kind of think maybe I should just be quiet and just let you just watch the road. But then when I look back and think, no, you'll probably get bored just watching the road with no talking. So I guess that's kind of part of my anxiety and that coming back in and thinking that nothing I ever do is good enough or be right. I can't even get a vlog right. I've had some really bad criticisms of people. Some comments, the only comments that I've had I've basically had to delete because they were really not appropriate, or just basically having a go at me for just being me, I guess. So I don't know. What do you want to know? What do you think? What could I do to improve my vlogs? But more importantly, what could I do to improve my riding? Obviously, I don't feel like a learner, but I am still really a learner. Somebody pointed out to me that we're always learning. So even when I pass my mods, hopefully in the summer, I'll still basically be a learner. You know, we're still learning. And every time we get on the bike, you know, there's times when I've made stupid mistakes and I've just thought, why? And know that I'm better than that, but you know, when you're on the road, you have to make snap decisions, and sometimes other users can affect you, and also the people affect me. That I mentioned earlier about people who don't like bikers. Well, I'm not going to say who, but there's a family member who really hates bikes and bikers, and there's been a few times I've turned up on my bike and basically got a mouthful of abuse and made to feel really bad, and also left with kind of the thing of go and kill yourself, go and die. And you hear a lot of people going on about bikes being dangerous and that. So when you jump on a bike after you've had those conversations, it kind of plays in your mind of thinking, am I going to die? And you over-analyze every situation, and that is kind of when I make mistakes. So, in contrast, there is another family member who I love dearly, who isn't massively keen on bikes, but respects that I ride, and it's actually my dad. I love him to pieces. But so he knows I ride. But when I go to visit him on the bike, when I leave, he always insists that I ring him when I get home to tell him that I got home okay. And I said, well, I ride every day. But do you expect me to ring you after every ride? And he says no, because he knows I'm riding, but it's in the back of his mind. So he can easily just accept it. It doesn't bother him. But when he sees me riding off and knows I'm going home, then he does want to know. So that is a nice way of somebody who is a bit worried. That is how those people who love us should behave. Don't go telling us that riding a bike is going to kill us, or that we should all die, or any of the sort of comments that I've had about bikes and bikers. Because you get into our brain and we're more likely to have an accident when we've got your words spinning around in our heads. So, one of my favourite sayings is, you only die once, but you live every day. And that basically, over the past couple of years, has become more prominent. It's meant more. With nearly dying, I kind of looked back and realised that all I ever did was work, and I was too obsessed and worried about being perfect, being safe, and just working, and in the end, work nearly killed me. So now I live for every moment and enjoy life on the bike, doing what I love, and enjoy time with my family. So I try not to be so much of a workaholic now, although I'm still a bit of a workaholic, and so is my husband, so pot kettle black in that situation. But life is short, and life is for living, and life is for enjoying, and I'm going to be out there enjoying and living and loving every minute of the life that I have remaining, because I was given a second chance. So that's a little bit heartfelt from me there. So we've just came off the A19 and heading along now to Penshaw Monument. So we'll be there in a few minutes. I don't think I'm going to show the journey back home, because it's going to be exactly the same as on the way here. There's just a lot more roadworks and a lot more cars kind of overtaking me. But that's my life, basically. I'm used to people overtaking me. They're always going to be overtaking me. I don't mind. I ride to my ability, I ride to my speed, I ride to Ronnie's capabilities, and I'm just happy being on two wheels, and I will go as fast as the speed limit or Ronnie allows, and I won't break speed limits, and I won't push Ronnie past her capabilities. I'm just here to enjoy the ride and enjoy beautiful places and good friends, and being able to stop off and have coffees and chat and basically enjoying life, because if there's one thing that I really want to get across is enjoy the life you have, because you never know how short it's going to be. you know, like the example of me or Ron, who unfortunately didn't survive. Life is short. Go make memories, because I am. Well, made it to Penshaw Monument. I'm gonna park up. Gonna have a nice ice lolly because it's a boiling hot day and I'm absolutely boiling in this gear. And maybe a coffee. I'm gonna walk up to the top of the monument. It'll probably take me forever because I'm not the fittest person. Not because I'm unfit, but because of my health. I am trying to work on gradually building my fitness back up, but it's going to be a long, slow process. So I'm going to sign off now, and hopefully I will see you next time. But please like and subscribe and drop a comment. Engage with me. Engagement is very important. We need to talk more. And it does make my day when somebody comments. Obviously the nice comments, not the horrible comments that I have to delete. Bye bye. Now keep safe and have fun.